My girlfriend's entitled mother humiliated a waiter right in front of me and my girlfriend didn't do anything. So I canceled the wedding. I dated my girlfriend for about 2 years before I was sure that I wanted to get married to her. After talking to her about it, we agreed that we should meet each other's parents before I properly proposed to her. I honestly thought this was just a formality before we tied the knot and wasn't worried at all. When it was my parents' turn, all they asked was, does she have any kids? Does she have a job? And do I love her? That was it, and they gave us our blessing. My girlfriend was really happy after that visit, and I was sure that meeting her parents would be the same. Some grilling was to be expected, but as long as I was honest and respectful, it would all be fine. Little did I know, I was just being a naive idiot. Anyway, my girlfriend and I made the trip up to their city and I met them for the first time over dinner at a steakhouse. It was pretty upscale and we'd scheduled the dinner for 8 p.m. To my surprise, they brought my girlfriend's younger sister along with them, who was just 6 years old. But it didn't bother me and I greeted them with a smile on my face. We were making great small talk when the 6-year-old said she was thirsty. That shouldn't be a big deal since we could just ask for some water, right? Well, her mother Ellen thought differently. She immediately started screaming, "Water, water, water!" A waiter came rushing over to see what the commotion was and, without even making eye contact with the poor guy, Ellen went, "We've been here forever and no one's gotten us any water. My daughter's throat is drying up." We had only been sitting for about 10 minutes without service, and it was clearly visible that the steakhouse is having a busy day. However, no one else at the table, not even my girlfriend, reacted to Ellen's words. I should have realized something was wrong at that instant, but I ignored it. The waiter rushed over with water and apologized for the delay, explaining a few very large parties had arrived all at once. I felt really bad for him, but before I could say something, Ellen continued, "We'll need a kids menu." He said that they didn't have a kids menu, but that the chef could simplify most dishes. "What do you mean you don't have a kids menu?" Ellen replied in total disbelief, as though he just asked for her kidney. He explained they didn't get too many child visitors and that there were enough plain foods on the menu that no separate menu had ever been necessary. Ellen sighed dramatically and waved him away. Once again, my girlfriend didn't correct her mother's entitled behavior. I tried to give him an apologetic glance, but he didn't look back our way. I was so glad the poor guy left and didn't have to be subjected to her anymore. Meanwhile, she turned her attention on me, and I almost wished he'd come back. She was like, "So you're a screenwriter?" And I explained, "Well, yes and no. I want to be, but it's hard to get a job in that field that you can support yourself in. So I'm working at a nonprofit right now. There's a screenwriting component to the job though, so I'm really happy there." Ellen turned to her 6-year-old and went, "Hear that, hun? You want to be sure to snag a man who works for profit. Learn from this since it's not too late for you." I couldn't tell if she was trying to be funny or not. Looking over to my girlfriend, I waited to see if she would speak up on my behalf, but nope. The waiter came back, visibly nervous. Then Ellen proceeded to make him recite all 10 of the specials before ordering something from the menu anyway. Then she ordered some mashed potatoes for the kid and to my absolute shock, sent the waiter away. The rest of us hadn't even ordered yet, and everyone else just sat there like it was entirely normal. I waited for someone to say something, thinking it was more my girlfriend's place or her dad's, but when no one did, I couldn't help myself. Was the one steak and potatoes going to be for all of us? Or, my girlfriend explained, in the tone you'd use for a tourist violating a sacred local taboo, "My mom always has the waiter put the kids' food in first, so it can get started right away. We'll order once the kitchen has hers." I thought she was joking since Ellen had ordered her own food as well, so I laughed. "Something funny?" Ellen asked with a sharp stern. Then I realized she was serious and I shut up. Thankfully her dad at least recognized that what was normal for them might not be as regular to me and tried to lighten the mood with a change of topic. But not even 10 minutes after we'd ordered, Ellen started in again. Another table that had been there long before we got a side order of mashed potatoes with their meal. Ellen threw a total conniption. She was sputtering so inaudibly that none of us could figure out what was wrong at first. Finally she managed to flag down some busboy who barely spoke English and began laying into him like he just sideswiped her on the freeway. He kept trying to explain he wasn't a server and he could go get one, but she wouldn't stop to breath long enough for him to find someone who could actually help. All the while I kept looking at my girlfriend for signs of embarrassment, or at the very least irritation, but you wouldn't have known if she was even hearing any of this. Our waiter came over, somehow still feigning a smile despite knowing what he was walking into, and Ellen actually goes, "Why did that table get mashed potatoes and ours haven't come yet?" The waiter kindly but concisely explained, "Well ma'am, those people ordered potatoes before your party had placed their order." Ellen looks this man dead in the eye and says, "Well, it doesn't matter when they ordered it. My daughter is the youngest one here. Her food should come out first." You could tell the waiter was working hard to restrain himself at this point. He explained it was a first come, first served policy and age didn't help one way or the other. He offered to go check on the potatoes. Ellen agreed, or more specifically she said, "Yeah, you better," but I was clocking him and he went right back to his server station. 3 or 5 more minutes passed, during which we could have no other discussion at the table except how awful this restaurant was, how hungry the poor baby was. Her daughter hadn't said a word about being hungry this whole time and was constantly playing her loud iPad game, without headphones, disturbing all the other diners around us. Ironically, she said that Americans these days were just too selfish and had no respect for motherhood. I chimed in, "I'm with you on that last part." And to my utter shock, instead of laughing at my joke, my girlfriend seemed annoyed with me. So after a few minutes the waiter comes back and says the potatoes will be out very soon. That's when Ellen did something I never thought I would see in real life.